Everyone's been telling me, go outside. You can't just stay inside your whole life. You gotta go outside. So what do? I go outside. I go into the wondrous world of the outside. And what do I find? Rain. It's raining the whole way I walk over here. The whole way, there's just rain. This chair sucks. I want a Razer gaming chair, not a stupid tree stump. This sucks. Portal 2. Welcome to my second ever officially government mandated video game review. Last year I talked about why Mario Odyssey was my favorite game of all time due to the gameplay and just my personal experiences with the game. However, I have been told that I'm not allowed to talk about the same game twice. So this year I'm just going to talk about why Portal 2 is kind of cool and I like it. Portal 2 is a game released in 2000. My script says that it was released in 2001. Who wrote this? What an idiot. Portal 2 was a game released in 2011 by Valve as a sequel to their game called, damn it, what was it called again? Shoot, it was like, I can't remember. It was something really cool though, I promise. Portal 2 is a first-person puzzle game that takes place in the same universe as the Half-Life series, although they're pretty much entirely separate from each other. The first Portal game received critical acclaim, and the sequel was basically deemed better in like every way. Technically speaking, Portal 2 is a first-person shooter, which those quotation marks are holding up the weight of the world there. While, yes, it is in first person, and yes, that is a gun, it's a lot different from most shooters, mainly due to the fact that that is a weird-looking gun. This is the Portal gun, the
Aperture Science handheld portal device,
which main function is to shoot portals. Unlike other FPS games where your objective is to shoot targets like enemies, other players, stuff like that, in Portal, your objective is to shoot the portal gun directly at a wall. At which point, bam, one side of the portal. Do it again, bam, circles. I'm a big fan of this as I have the aim of a blind, one-armed cat with Parkinson's, so I really just don't do very well with most shooters. This is the reason why my two favorite shooters are the only two where your objective is to shoot at the wall. Outside of being a shooter, this game is also a puzzle game. The levels involve solving a variety of puzzles that involve thinking with portals.
Now you're thinking with portals.
That's why they said that! While most of the puzzles aren't too challenging, if you want that, you should go play Portal Reloaded, which I'm fairly certain took a few years off my life. There are definitely some that may leave you sitting there for a while going, huh? What? Huh? Luckily, you won't be alone for these instances, as there's always some weird robot guy there with you who will not shut the hell up. But like, in a good way, I promise. These puzzles also have a lot of variety, requiring the player to use things like momentum or physical objects such as cubes or cubes with hearts. There's also things like buttons, big buttons, lifts, sideways lifts, turrets, energy pellets, and emancipation grills. And those are just in the first game. New to Portal 2, we've got flippers that launch you, weird swirly light things that carry you, weird flat light things that carry you, lasers, cubes that mirror lasers, cube turrets that look like they need to be killed, and even funny goos that make you bounce and go fast.
Or so I'm told.
As you get further into the game, these mechanics are introduced one by one until eventually you're solving puzzles that are using several or even all of them at once. And after solving it, you're just like, yeah, maybe I am the smartest person alive. No, I walked into the middle of the forest for no reason. I'm definitely not the smartest person alive. On its own, just messing around with portals is so much fun. Seriously, you're not a true gamer until you've spent literal hours just falling through an infinite portal loop just because you can, and also probably because the puzzle was too hard and you got bored. I would never do that. I solved them all first try. I'm gonna get killed out here. They realistically could have gotten away with just making the game about the portals and the mechanics of the game because they're so much fun on their own. But instead, Valve decided, this game needs a robot. And then for the second one, they were like, yeah, this game also needs a robot. But this time, make it British. As someone who couldn't tell you a goddamn thing about storytelling, let me just say that the Portal story is really cool and I like it. There's just a lot of like really cool details that if you feel like it, you can dig into, which since I first played this game in 2020, yeah, I definitely spent a bit of time looking into the story. And all of it is just made so much cooler by the fact that it's tied in with the Half-Life universe. Granted, I've played like half of the first Half-Life game, so I don't really know much about it, but I think someone's played those games, I don't know. Even ignoring the deeper lore of the game, the writing is just incredible. It's so funny, so many funny moments, and the characters are all just so likable.
Alright, so that last test was seriously disappointing. Apparently, being civil isn't motivating you, so let's try her way, alright? Fatty, adopted fatty, no parent.
But yeah, that's pretty much all there is to say gameplay-wise. Unlike Mario Odyssey, there isn't some just like insane movement to gush about. I mean, unless you want to be a nerd about it. Yeah, okay, cool, you can jump backwards. You know who else can jump backwards? Mario. Checkmate, liberal. According to Steam, I purchased both the Portal games on December 19th, 2019, and most likely I played them very shortly after that. I also bought Slime Rancher and Stardew Valley on that same day, and proceeded to barely play any of them for the next 4 years, so. I remember playing Portal 1 for the first time and just being absolutely blown away by the big twist in that game because I was just completely not paying attention to any of the foreshadowing going on. It's not even a twist, arguably, given how much they allude to it. I'm just an idiot and I thought it was cool. Guess what day it is today, guys? That's right! Not the same as the first half of the video. Because someone forgot to check how much storage was left on their memory card for their camera. It was me, I did it. Anyways, the first game impressed me so much that I basically just jumped straight into the second one. This game has so many great moments in it, both gameplay and story-wise. It's really hard for me to show them though, because I've been told that I'm not allowed to spoil the game. I'm gonna do my best though. I already showed that one moment earlier as an example of the game's great humor.
Fatty, no parent.
But arguably the best example, and quite possibly the best moment in the entire game, is the part where he kills you, which is still one of the best just meta jokes in a game I've ever seen. Well, it's not really a specific moment per se. The entire section of the game where you get to go into a new area of the facility and hear about some of the lore of the beginnings of the facility. It was just such a cool section. This section felt very refreshing, as up until this point the game had kind of just had one aesthetic, and even that aesthetic was a little bit similar to the first game. So this section just completely changes it up by introducing the color brown. I also feel like I gotta mention the ending because, I mean, come on, that was just pretty cool. Outside of the main story, I think there's one other mode that's pretty notable. I mean, there's a level maker, but like, come on man, I don't got time for that. One of Portal 2's biggest additions was an entirely separate co-op mode, containing a plethora of new levels and even its own story. I think, kind of, I don't know. In this mode, you are no longer playing as Chell, instead playing as two robots that GLaDOS created to replace Chell, named Atlas and Peabody. These two are certified little goobers, which was an interesting decision by Valve as it contrasts the very serious gameplay that most people would have playing the game. So this is where I was going to show a clip from my playthrough of the co-op mode, but unfortunately I don't have that footage anymore. So enjoy the one clip I did manage to find.
Yoda.
Yeah, that basically covers it. All right, fine. I'll address the elephant in the room. What am I doing out here in the forest? Shit. Loopy fruits are available now. Come out here in the forest and buy them from me. I've set up shop out here. What do they cost? One night of letting me crash on your couch. I don't have a home. I've been out here for 4 weeks. Yeah, 4 weeks I've been out here. The only chance I have is this one wolf pack that has decided to take me in. I don't trust that. Please buy some loopy fruits and let me crash on your couch. Please. Please. The aesthetic of Portal 2 is honestly one of the best parts of the game. It uses a combination of both sci-fi robot technology combined with overgrown vegetation to create a really cool take on the reclaimed by nature aesthetic. The game uses this aesthetic to showcase just how much time has passed between this game and the first game. There are many instances where you revisit locations that you saw in the first game, only to find that they are now entirely unrecognizable. However, this game doesn't just have one aesthetic. As I mentioned earlier, there is a section where they finally introduce the color brown into the Portal franchise, and by God, is it something to behold. While many of the sections of the first half of the game feature areas that are basically destroyed, there are some sections during this part where you'll find areas that still look almost pristine. Despite the fact that these sections are supposed to be older than the ones from the first half of the game, they often look more like they were sealed away and just forgotten to time rather than face the effects of it. The game constantly makes you feel isolated, letting you know that there is still something outside of the facility, but reminding you how much and also how long the facility has been separated from it. Yet, despite the odds, you persevere. You climb back up and you overcome that challenge which once seemed impossible, with the only thing pushing you forward being the hope that you could one day be reunited with this. Nature. Now imagine if you went through all that turmoil, all that pain, pushed yourself to the brink, and when you finally got out, it was raining, okay? Do you get it now? Do you get why I'm so mad?
Goodbye, my only friend. Oh, did you think I meant you? That would be funny if it weren't so sad. Well, you have been replaced. I don't need anyone now.